All right. Welcome to my Igloo for a second time. Inuit's Igloo podcast,
It's so nice to be here.
episode 2.
I like the improvements you've made. The 8x10 of Dean Martin. I don't know how you got that. It's signed by him, too.
What a dreamboat. So, did you have a good week? You ready for December? It's December 1st.
I guess there's no way to stop it.
Man, you sound like old. What is an old person thing to
It's
say?
an old person thing to say.
Okay, so for this episode, we talked about it last episode, kind of, that we were going to talk about this. So this is what we're going to talk about.
What's this?
Like, notable people, like, in tech stuff. And this is going to be a lot of you, because I'm not very good at this.
Notable people in tech stuff?
Yeah, that's it.
Well,
Is
I
that
guess-
too Reddit?
Well, it's too broad, I guess. But, so it depends what kind of tech stuff you're talking about. The people who are more focused on, like, Silicon Valley nonsense, might be more interested in.
If you hear some smacking sounds, it's Max. He's on my lap.
Might be interested in those entrepreneurs, but like I don't really hear about the Twitter CEO guy very much, but I think if you're more really into Twitter, Jack Dorsey, yeah, you might care about him, but since he's on a bunch of companies, he doesn't really. I don't think he's a full-time Twitter guy anymore. He works for Square as well, right?
Foursquare?
No, Square.
What's Square?
The payment processor,
Oh,
the
yeah,
little
yeah.
things.
Yeah, that's what I
You can
meant.
swipe your card.
Didn't it used to be called? No, Foursquare was the
Foursquare's
check-in
that-
place.
Yeah, that goofy social network. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's still around.
We forgot to say our drinks. So, you have the same beer as last time.
Is it?
I believe so.
Is it?
Yeah, the high content limited edition.
Did you put the cap back on after I left?
That's gross.
Oh, it's kind of warm.
Mm. Say it again for anyone who might
This
not
is,
have listened.
The 3-notched brewing company Killer Angel Double IPA.
Limited release
yeah.
from Charlottesville, Virginia.
Yeah, and I just noticed it was bottled on November 5th, so it was bottled pretty recently.
8.7.
Yeah, I like them strong.
I just have filtered water and some, I call apple chai. It's steamed apple juice mixed with chai concentrate from Starbucks. It's good. It used to be one of their drinks, and then they canceled it, but they can still make it. There also used to be a berry chai, which I really liked. It was better iced rather than hot. It was like black currant concentrate with chai concentrate, and that was good. But I tried for a while to recreate it. I couldn't find whatever source they used for their black currant. I couldn't find it. It didn't taste right.
Yeah, you don't see many black currant berry juices in the supermarket.
Yeah, you see like 2 maybe, if that. Usually just 1.
Yeah, well, I guess pretty clever of Starbucks to caffeinate fruit juice.
Worked on me.
Yeah, I know they had all those refreshers drinks
Yeah.
that came out a few years ago, but I don't think those are too great.
Yeah. I like their passion tea lemonade in the summer. Or is it lemonade or is it just passion tea? The red drink.
Yeah, I think they have a lemonade version.
Well, that's okay every now and then in the summer. But back to the topic at hand. You have a list.
I have a list. Oh, I have a list. Well,
A very small list.
I don't know who are the ones really worth talking about. I mean, Bill Gates is still like the richest guy, and
No, it's Jeff Bezos now.
is he?
I believe
Is
it
he?
is.
Well, a lot of people.
Who knows, though? About the cash in hand or just assets.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know the
a lo-
distinction.
I think a lot of it with him is probably company stock,
I believe it is.
but he's definitely aggressively taking over the world.
They're opening up the Amazon. They're doing HQ2. They're having 2 headquarters. One in the Bronx or Brooklyn, in New York City. One of those B ones, and then here in Virginia in Crystal City.
Yeah, I think it's kind of shitty of them to open up 2 new headquarters because I think part of the competition that they held was to get all of the tax money, and I don't think the cities involved considered that they were just going to open a whole bunch of headquarters. I don't know how you can have three headquarters, but
It's gonna be a shit show. A shit show.
shit show.
There's this graphic that came out. I wish I had it in front of me right now. It was about like a report back on the area for people, all the like part of their pitch or something for people that would be moving to the area because of Amazon. And there's like someone saying, oh, I wanted to live in Foggy Bottom, and it's like you can't live in Foggy Bottom. That's
A lot of people do.
college students. That's literally all it is. It's just a stop for college students.
Oh, is there no real housing?
There's
there?
no real housing. And another one was like, oh, I'm a single mom. I'm gonna be making $60,000. I'm gonna move to Leesburg in Loudoun County and get a $239,000 house. And it's like, where? It's like that with everything. Like, there's someone that chose Reston for the more affordable housing. And it's like, where? It's really
there's a slum in Reston.
Yeah, there's a slum if you want to listen to mariachi music all the day long. I don't even know how slummy it is anymore with that new metro stop. I haven't looked at the numbers out there lately.
Yeah, they probably elevated the prices for everything.
Yeah. But yeah, so
I don't know. I don't know how the metro really does draw people because getting on from there takes like an hour of metro ride to get from Reston to
exactly.
DC. So it's like
that was another thing. They're saying like you live all the way out in Loudoun County, you're gonna be commuting for like 2 hours to get to Arlington.
Yeah, I guess you can
day.
listen to books on tape.
So, do you have anything else you want to say about the HQ or anything? Are we moving on to your first person on your list?
So first person on my list. Well, everybody likes to talk about Elon Musk.
Yeah, he's in the news a lot.
He's I think he's an interesting figure. A lot of people are don't like him. Don't like his personality, I guess. But
I didn't really care about him except for the children stuck in the submerged cave or something, and he had his people working on something to help. That even though they didn't get to use that, I thought that was nice.
Yeah, it's kind of odd that he. I guess he, for some reason, got. I don't know how he got involved in that, but yeah, he's.
Just wanted to help, I suppose.
People attribute him to setting aggressive goals. So trying to do things and
the Hyperloop and
he
canceled a tunnel recently, didn't he?
Well, I don't know.
A
I know
tunnel in LA.
Yeah, they've been they're making progress on that, I think, but I don't know what if they canceled the one.
Well, part of it or something. I should really do some research before I start talking.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, at his level, that he doesn't really get too involved in the day-to-day things, but I think he
is his background in that.
Yeah, I mean
what is his background?
I'm pretty sure he's a mechanical engineering background.
Oh.
I think, but he got his fortune with PayPal. He was a founder of PayPal.
Yeah, one of them.
And so basically, that's where he got his FU money from, and then he just kind of kept rolling on.
Hey, speaking of PayPal, I have a PayPal me on my YouTube channel. If you go to my YouTube channel in the banner, there should be a button. If you want to, I don't know, leave a tip or something. That's just a little aside. So that was okay. Go ahead.
Maybe I can get another beer for next time.
Just keep drinking the same one. I feel like I was doing the Alan tutorial voice for there for a second.
Hey, tutorial heads.
Welcome to my YouTube channel.
Hey, YouTubers. Let's talk about Elon Musk.
It wasn't quite like, hey, tutorial heads. I have to rewatch his videos. I loved them.
Well, I like the whole fire, not a flamethrower thing he was selling. It's a
That was banned in the UK,
fun
I believe.
idea. Well, they ban a lot of stuff in the UK.
They ban, you can't even buy a whisk unless you're 18. I saw a picture.
But I thought that was a fun way of raising some capital. I mean, essentially that's why he sells those weird things, is just to raise capital. It kind of reminds me of, we were talking about Silicon Valley, the TV show, and there was a scene where the really cool tech guy who dies, so they had to get rid of him in the second season.
Yeah.
He was looking to fund the main character's company, and he needed X million dollars or something, and he goes through a series of logical inferences about sesame seeds and hamburger buns, and asks his assistant to
I love that scene.
place a bet on something or other, on some futures position, some options or something.
Yeah, it was very smart.
And then he's like, okay, well, we'll get the money to do that from this, and like, there you go. He just raised the capital, and now he can go fund. I forget the main character's name.
Who cares?
Yeah, but no, I thought that was
His
cool.
file compression thing
Yeah.
he did. Yeah, a lot of people don't like Elon anymore. They used to be all over him. Like, dude, he put a car into space and it's playing like, what, music. It's like, wow. Now it's all like, F Elon Musk. He says wrong things, wrong, bad.
Yeah, well, you put yourself out there, you're gonna piss off some people at least.
It doesn't really matter anyway, does it? Was it a large part of it was his Joe Rogan appearance?
What, that caused people to not like him anymore?
Part of it was, yeah. And he was like smoking weed and stuff, and he's kind of a meme because he's like making this like face after he like tokes, and he's looks kind of funny.
I don't know if I ever saw the video, but yeah, it was a good interview. I mean, he had him there for at least 2 hours.
Who do you think's better? This is kind of off topic, but who do you think is better at interviewing? Since I know you like Joe Rogan so much, or at least his podcast. Do you think Joe Rogan or Howard Stern is a better interviewer? Because people always say how smart Howard Stern is because he says wrong things in order to make people admit things. They're like, oh, he'll say little wrong things, so they'll correct him, and by then they're like revealing more. And he's like, there's like articles written about what a good interviewer is.
I certainly would believe that about Howard Stern.
He's completely disgusting.
I can't recall instances of it, but I think
I
believe it. I think he's good at. He is a good interviewer in general, but I think he is a little more manipulative than Joe. Joe is pretty wholesome, I think. He suffers from occasionally
being manlet.
He's gotta find, like, if guests are sort of run out of steam, because they normally go for 2 or 3 hours. If they run, he's got to sort of find something to talk about, and he does like 6 of these a week or something, and so he ends up.
We got to stop talking about Joe Rogan.
He ends up just talking about things that he talked about with another guest, and so it seems a little repetitive sometimes.
This is another off-topic thing, but how about Barbara Walters though? Barbara Wawa 2020. This is 2020. I used to watch that Friday night. It would be on after TGIF, Like, it would be late, and I would still watch it because I love to watch 2020.
I don't know
Who
that
was her co-host? The guy. I can't remember his name. It's like on the tip of my tongue.
all I can think of is Walter Cronkite. But,
No, it wasn't him.
He was on like 60 Minutes, but I don't know if that was the same time period or not.
Did you watch 2020?
Not really.
Barbara Wawa
No.
with her soft lighting and camera.
I didn't really watch her, so I don't really know if I can't think about her interviewing style.
She did an interview, I think it was her, with Sean Connery. And Sean Connery said sometimes a woman's got to be slapped around a little or something like that. I'm paraphrasing. He's right, though. Anyway, moving on, since we kind of talked about Elon Musk, and you think he's neat and the way he makes his money and...
Well, I think he's neat because he primarily because he sets good aspirational goals, and then he's able to actually motivate his workforce and keep people on track and push forward so that they actually meet some of those goals.
What about the Tesla controversy, though?
What controversy?
That they really only made money by getting government money, and their third iteration of it was so delayed. And of course, you know, them bursting on fire.
Oh.
A lot of people say he's a hack. Or is it that just pains of, what is the word I'm searching for? New, you know what I mean?
No.
Like when you have something new innovation, there's going to be growing pains.
Right.
Is that what it is?
Well, I mean, you said, go back to what you said about government money. I mean, if
they get a lot of government money. And
I mean, if
most of their money comes from that.
If they're benefiting from tax breaks or tax incentives, then that's all fair game as far as I'm concerned.
That's like a whole nother conversation about tax breaks, because they got a lot with the back to Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Amazon got so much.
Yeah.
And it's like, is it right though? Because they're like, oh, well, we're bringing in workers, and it's like, maybe you want some workers in that borough in New York City to gentrify it, whatever. Do you really? We really don't need any more in like Fairfax County. It's already overflowing.
Yeah.
The traffic is going to be terrible.
I'm not really sure what justification there was to give them tax incentives in Crystal City.
Why didn't they just put it in D.C.? Because D.C. is a shit show.
There's no room. I don't think there's much room in Crystal City either. But
there's like no room in Crystal City. Well, they are redoing Tyson's. Have you seen the designs for that?
No.
They're trying to make Tyson's Corner, get this, walkable.
Yeah.
They're like redesigning neighborhoods so it's actually walkable. Tyson's Corners, that's so sad. It's completely devoid of actual like charm or anything anymore. If you look up like old Tyson's Corner, and you just see like a small little like I guess the corner town, and it's just like so quaint and country, because it was country.
Well, I want to know who Tyson
rural.
was.
We're getting really off track. Who's next on your list?
Well, I really just wanted to mention Larry Ellison.
Who's that? Tell the people.
He is the founder of Oracle, which makes databases. They at one time were, I just felt like mentioning them because they're kind of becoming irrelevant, but at one time they were like one of the top companies, and he's still one of the richest tech executives. I think he's worth
There's Oracle buildings
like
around.
$38 billion. Yeah, I mean they're definitely around and they're definitely popular, but they've been waning a lot in the past 10 years. They've been straight downhill. They haven't really adapted to the cloud.
Like Sears.
Bezos has certainly ate into his market share quite a bit. Yeah, they're like the Sears of They're like the Sears of tech companies. But yeah, he made headlines a few years back because I think he bought an island. So he's got his own island.
A lot of people have islands.
There's
a lot of little islands.
There's a resort on his island, though.
Oh.
So he's got his own resort. I guess it probably still runs as a resort, unless he has a whole staff just for him when he shows up.
I bet I could buy a sandbar.
Sandbar.
It's kind of. Oh, that's a bad joke. Do you think they'll ever turn around? Is there work? Are they trying to turn around?
I don't know. They're trying. I haven't seen any real initiatives to do that. They bought Java a while back when Sun Microsystems was dying, and yeah, Java itself is also sort of on the downhill, but it's still mainstream in enterprises. They don't necessarily make money off Java though, because it's all free. I'm sure that there's some licensings on the periphery somewhere for some types of Java usages, but I heard they're trying to make their own cloud type thing, but who's gonna go to their cloud when Amazon is killing it, and then Microsoft has got a pretty aggressive offering. Microsoft has done a complete 180 with their new CEO. They've been doing a lot better.
Who is their CEO now?
Satya Nadella, is that right?
Yeah, that woman.
No.
Is it no? Oh no, the brown guy. Oh, I shouldn't say such. Yeah, he's like Indian or Pakistani.
Yeah.
Okay, he is a brown fellow.
I'm trying to remember if that's his name or if that's the Google guy, because yeah, there's I don't know. Anyway, they got a new guy. He's doing good. They focusing more on open source and less banking on their old IP, which is like exactly what Oracle should be doing.
Bring back Windows 95.
Yeah, they had a good advertising campaign. They had the Rolling Stones, Start Me Up, and then the CD shipped with the music video for Weezer.
Oh yeah, what song was that?
The Stole My Sweater song.
Oh
Whatever
gosh,
song that
I don't enjoy Weezer all that much, so I'm sure you enjoyed it. How's that song? Like Stole My Sweater or something like that.
Yeah, something like.
What year was?
What year did Windows 95 come out?
No, I mean the famous conference with developers. My favorite meme. I don't even know what year it came out.
That was probably early
It
2000s.
was so sweaty.
Yeah.
Steve Ballmer. That's who we're talking about. Developers. What's Steve been up to?
Well, he bought a basketball team, didn't he?
Yep.
I think that's telling right there that he didn't really do a heck of a great job at Microsoft when he took over for Bill Gates, and I think him stepping down and then going and doing something that he actually cares about.
He's still involved
turns
a
to
little
be
bit.
not related to Microsoft. I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's on some boards, what have you, whatever those extremely rich guys do at the time. But I think he's also involved in his basketball team.
Do you think he runs around
he still has it, but.
Do you think he runs around the court all sweaty and frustrated? Go, whoa, come on, guys, yeah. Whoa. Oh,
Whatever
man.
floats your boat.
Soaked in sweat. Who's next?
I was just writing down names, so I don't think I was gonna write down the Google guys. So Sergey Brin and Larry Page, they seem like fun dudes, but
Google's turned evil.
well, yeah, they sort of had to. I think they sort of had to grow up and like you said, growing pains organizationally. They kind of forced themselves to split into that Alphabet type company. So Google's actually a one company under Alphabet, and they're supposed to be making money, and then like the other.
They want to take over the world. They want to be in control of everything when it comes to internet.
I don't know. Amazon seems more aggressive on that stance. Google's seems like it's turning into I don't know what the analogy would be. A bulldog with no teeth.
What about with China though? That's pretty evil.
Yeah, I think they're just
explain to what's going on with China.
To stockholder pressure. Well, I don't know what's going on with China.
Well, they went from
their stance changed. From
no censorship to okay, China, if we can be in China, we'll censor for you.
Right.
It's pretty fucked up.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's a big market, and they can't really do business in China without it. So.
I'm surprised China hasn't come out like. Where is China's tech, internet tech at? Because it's like they have so many people, and I know they have like their own search engines. How come that hasn't spread?
Yeah, it's kind of. I guess that is kind of odd that they have their own little bubble there, but I guess some of that bubble is, propped up by the Chinese. In that it kind of stays within the country, but I don't know. Maybe other parts of Asia see a lot more of China's internet, but there's Tencent, which is a gigantic company, largest company in China, and then there is Alibaba, which is like the Amazon of China, the part of Amazon that sells stuff. I think they have pretty similar level of penetration in China that Amazon does for buying stuff in the States, in the Western world. Did you hear about the radio station in Cleveland that banned that song from the 40s, the "Baby It's Cold Outside" song?
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they say it's like rapey or something. It's like, no, it's not. And when she's like, gee, what's in this drink? It's just like, that doesn't mean he spiked it or anything. It's just, maybe it was a little strong, or maybe it's like, oh, this is good. It's like, it's not rapey at all.
I would imagine that particular line reference is more of a, like, this is stronger than I expected.
Yeah. That has a lot to do with tech people.
All right, well, it doesn't, but I just thought it was surprising. But
I'm not surprised.
Well, it's so old, and it was such a Christmas classic that the song is pretty innocuous, but it's like, oh, we're not allowed to have songs that feature typical elements of normal dating life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that applies to a lot of things now. When it comes to culture, it's like you can't write about it, you can't have it in a TV show, you can't sing about it.
And I mean, the song's supposed to be humorous. It's not like supposed to be taken straight. It's people are supposed to find like, oh ho ho, the guy's like trying to find excuses to stay.
Acting like people don't talk like that. It's because you totally do. You play hard to get, or you act like, I don't know. There's this thing going around where it's mostly on the internet. I say mostly because I know that, people get pretty rabid in real life, where it's like women are completely always 100% scared about any interaction with the opposite sex, like that they could be raped or attacked or catcalled or whatever, and it's so not true.
It's like a spidey sense.
It's completely not true, and it's like I know there's all these young people reading into this, and they're getting scared and like, oh my gosh, I could be attacked at any time, and you know you're gonna be freaking paranoid walking around. Like, you should always know your surroundings, but that goes for either sex. You know, be aware of your surroundings, but I would say you probably don't have to be worried that you're going to be raped any second unless maybe you live in India or Africa. I mean, it's not. I just feel it's just kind of rage worthy.
Yeah,
It's like
I don't know.
men are default rapists, and it's like the special ones are the ones that are not. That's you literally hear people say all men are rapists.
Yes, well, those people are kind of silly.
Gosh, I'm
I don't know if these
terrified
are
right now.
Is this just millennials that are just lost
I
their
don't know.
minds?
Some of them are older people, like the professor types.
Well, they're sort of maybe they're enabling the millennials, but I
This
don't know.
is not what I planned for us to talk about, because I was like, let's talk about like tech people and old shows we were sad that got canceled way too early. Now we're talking about rape. But that's
Well,
kind of where
I-
our minds go.
I
Not
just-
to rape, I just mean they go off.
I don't like this PC nonsense. And
Now you really sound like old person. This PC nonsense, I don't understand it. Yeah, you know, I have to agree with you. I think that's pretty evident, like, you know, throughout my YouTube videos and all that. That it's ridiculous.
yeah, it's been going on for a while though. It's going on
I
for a long
know.
time.
It's
It
like
just
5
seems like
years.
it's been getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
But you know, like how old is the South Park with PC Principal?
Like
like at
3
least-
or 2
yeah,
3 years.
like,
But it was going on before that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's just like, I think it has to be reaching a high point now, because there is some blowback against like the Me Too movement and all
yeah,
that.
it's definitely already peaked.
Did you hear about Neil deGrasse Tyson? He's getting Me Too'd by 3 women. And so there was like a thread on Twitter, like someone showing like people saying, oh, you know, we'll wait for more info about Neil deGrasse Tyson, you know, like these, you know, leftist types. But then there's comparison tweets that they did like a few months ago. Oh, Brett Kavanaugh is a rapist, you could tell, you know. So they're quick to judge against, you know, a conservative, but say, oh wait, we gotta wait and see with one of their own. I never liked Neil deGrasse Tyson. Like, I don't know if he's a rapist or a sexual assaulter or not, but I've never liked him. I've never enjoyed him. I think he's a hack fraud. To
Hack
kind of
fraud.
a degree.
Well,
he's just one of those celebrity scientists.
Yeah, he's a science
He's got like no
entertainer guy.
papers and
Well, I don't know if he doesn't have any.
I don't believe he's done much. At least lately.
Yeah, well,
Someone who's done like nothing is Bill Nye.
yeah, that TV show he put out was just awful.
The latest one. The old one was fun. You know, they've edited the old one. They've took out his you know, there's 2 genders in the chromosomes parts.
Oh,
they edited that out. But yeah. Like, you know, it's bad when even Reddit turns against Bill Nye. Just because how cringy his latest show is.
Well, the fascist forces that are pushing the progressive left agenda will eventually eat all of their own. So it's a race to the bottom until the masses realize how silly it all is, and then nobody listens to them anymore. I don't know if this is just a problem with social media and the ability for the outrage culture being hijacked by political means.
What scientist do you like? You like that Japanese guy. He's kind of celebrity-y, but
Oh yeah, I really haven't heard anything about from him in a long time.
What's his name for the people?
I don't remember his name off the top of my head. He's the string theory guy. Right?
The string theory fellow.
Parallel universes. I don't know that I like parallel universes theory.
It's interesting. Some people say
Well,
that's
you know,
why there's ghosts.
it's a good. I mean, it's a thought experiment. It's a good thought experiment, but it doesn't seem like it should be real. I mean, so well, I guess I should take a step back. If you think that parallel universes exist, where it's like copies of the current universe, that just other things have happened, and that's a common interpretation, at least in pop culture. People will say like, "Oh, there's a universe out there where I have white hair instead of brown hair."
Well, that's kind of silly.
Yeah, but that also plays into like the quantum mechanics thing, but like if you say, okay, there's a separate chunk of existence that is isolated from this one, then okay, maybe that's true, but that chunk of existence, the dimensions that exists in, I don't know. I guess I don't know if that still fits within the definition of parallel universe, but that seems more plausible that could exist.
What did you think about Stephen Hawking? Did you think he was a hacker? Do you think maybe he's been dead for a long time and people are just keeping his body alive or typing stuff in his little computer?
I think I think other folks would have noticed he had quite a bit of exposure. He was certainly not a hack fraud, but he did start to really like the attention, and I heard he was a bit of a womanizer.
Oh yeah,
being in a wheelchair.
His second wife. Yeah, that was his.
I never saw the movie that they did.
Yeah, he had one wife, and then he cheated on her with his nurse. It was this black woman.
Yeah, but I think he had like some. I don't want to say a grad student, but he had like some assistant guy who I think was helping a lot with most of his technical work, or his academic work. Near the end, anyway.
What do you think about his theories or his book? Did you read his book, The History of the Universe?
Well, that's all just for the masses, so it's not really, and it's not clear how much he really input into that, but that was fine. There's nothing really amazing about that. The history of the universe in a nutshell. I think that from what I remember, it was all pretty standard stuff.
But people can then brag that they read it and be like, "I love science."
Yeah, that was a thing for a while. People.
Oh my gosh! Look at this picture of a whale. I love science. Look how big the whale is. It's a scale picture. I love it.
Yeah, but now that's been replaced with like virtue signaling and checking your male privilege.
No, it's not even like it has to be white male now. If you're a white guy, you can't say anything. But Lawrence Krauss, he does the dark matter stuff, right?
I'm sure he did.
We had a book.
He's another physicist guy.
Yeah.
Who does book tours and speaking tours.
Which we saw many years ago. What was that?
Yeah.
2011, 2012. We got his book.
Something like that.
Which I did not read.
I don't remember it.
Was it signed? I don't even know. He has a big head. I feel like the SJW stuff came from the militant atheist stuff.
Yeah, there was kind of a fracturing, wasn't there?
Yeah.
I think they were trying to hijack the atheist movement. There
Yeah.
was that atheist plus thing for a while that
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
nobody cared about.
Who
I
was
mean,
that guy with the glasses?
I don't remember.
Oh gosh,
You're not talking about
it's
the
a bad.
Amazing Atheist, are you?
No, no, it was an older fella. He was the one. He was one of the people that founded, Atheism Plus, and I can't remember his name. I know we saw him at the Reason rally, like some. I should stop using descriptors so much. Some woman was like creaming her pants about seeing him because I'm like, I remember asking her, "Is that so and so?" I'm terrible with names tonight. I'm sorry. I apologize. She's like, "Yes, it is," and she was like holding her camera. She was so excited. But yeah, yeah, and there was like this woman. There's this skeptic. Skeptic had a big part, I think, of that too. She had like purple hair. The funny thing is, it's like so many men in the atheist community are sexist. Let's do a nude calendar shoot, girls. It's pinup style. Oh man.
Did they actually do that?
Yeah, yeah. You don't want to see it. Oh my gosh. Can you hold Max? Because he is like heating me up. It's like so warm, fuzzy. And Aaron Ross turned SJW last I've heard. I still get views on my Aaron Raw video and people comment on it and stuff. It's crazy. I don't know. I haven't watched it since I put it up on my channel. Just standing there I guess was enough. But I was like, I'm wondering how I would feel about it if I watched it again now. Because I have a feeling he was kind of maybe bullying, not letting people talk. I feel like that way about a lot of things. These street confrontations, there's always just one side.
Yeah, you can't really get a
shouting at the other.
I mean, that's why debates have a moderator that's supposed to be unbiased, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that people can actually talk. But, if you're just going to go around and debate people in the streets, it's going to be, there's going to be many factors as to whether or not, the debate's going to be really fair.
Right. Well,
so,
okay.
So wasn't the idea, that churches offer a nice sense of community.
Yes.
So, but
there's like non-religious churches for like atheists and stuff to go to.
Right.
What are those called?
I thought that was supposed to be the idea. It's like, okay, it's nice to have a place where you can meet nice people, but without having to subscribe to church dogma or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But then what's your commonality with the folks that are there other than living in the same geographical area?
Yeah.
I mean, if there is no commonality.
Join a book club.
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking. Like, okay, well, you can find meetup groups or something that are topically based.
Meetup is they're still around. That website.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still around. I don't know if anyone uses it.
Probably.
We never used it.
I went to a few technical meetups, but
oh yeah, that is.
They tend to be, for not very convenient to get to.
So, did you want to talk about the TV shows canceled too early this episode, or should we save it for the next?
Let's just keep talking.
All right. Well, yeah, that's fine with me. I guess it would be a good way to find out if people like the shorter ones or the longer ones, because I don't want to go on forever. But anyway, so my choice of TV show that was canceled too early that I really enjoyed. I'm sure there's more of a Roar. Have you heard of Roar?
I have not heard of War.
It had Heath Ledger, and it was set in like a Celtic setting around Roman times. Like there's Roman people coming in, and you know the Celts. They're all in their own tribes and stuff. And Heath Ledger was trying to get them together to band together to resist the Romans who were coming, and it was really great. It was around the time of, you know, like Xena, Hercules, etc. It was on the Science Fiction Channel.
Was it after Xena?
I think it was still during it. I'm not sure. It might be. If it was after, it was just after. But Heath Ledger was like 17 years old, and he was wearing leather pants, and there was this great character called Fergus who had a big handlebar mustache, and it was great. And like the bad guy of the show was it was the fellow that speared Jesus to make sure he was dead. Like he was the Roman soldier that did that.
And he was the real one?
Yeah, and he was cursed. So it's like 600 years later, and he's still alive. Like that's his curse, that he can't die. And he came to the island, you know, with the other Romans to try to figure out, he heard of something that could maybe kill him, and because he wants to die. It's a great show. I gotta find it because I think for a while it was on Netflix, but then they took it off again, and you know I don't have Netflix, so I don't know if it's on Amazon. I was gonna look because I'm like, that was a good show, and they canceled it like.
How many seasons?
They didn't even finish out the season.
Oh, so less than one season.
Yeah, it felt like there was one season, and then there's like 2 extra episodes. That's what it felt like. Yeah, they never finished it. It's really sad. It was really good. Oh, the Felicity girl was in it. The girl that was in...
I never watched Felicity.
Oh, I thought you did.
She's so I'm not much of a Felicity girl.
Oh, I thought you would have thought she was so cute. I didn't watch that show, but she was in it for 1 episode. She was killed.
What was that other show that you mentioned? Felicity, the 90s.
Dawson's Creek.
Girl-centric.
Charmed.
No.
Melrose Place.
Did the hat. Blossom.
I did not watch Whoa. I did not watch that.
Me neither.
I had a hat like that though. It was cute. I was cute.
Did she bring the hat in to the world's fashion sense, or was she just following?
I don't know. She's on a terrible TV show that has like the Sheldon character in it. She's like Sheldon's girlfriend.
Oh.
I don't know. I've never watched the episode. So.
The Bazinga Show?
Yeah, the Bazinga Show.
Yeah. They should have a spin-off. Just call it the Bazinga Show.
I think they have a spin-off called Young Sheldon.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah.
I bet he says Bazinga a bunch of times.
I bet he does. So what's your TV show that was canceled?
You know, I think there's probably a lot, more than a couple. But the only one I could think of was Futurama.
What, the first?
Yeah, before they brought it back. So, like, I don't remember how many seasons they had.
2 or 3. I don't know.
But, yeah, they canceled it.
I did not watch that. I don't enjoy Futurama at all. But you do. You did.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't a huge fan, but I was somewhat disappointed when they stopped. Katie Sackhoff is that Peggy's name? The actress that did Peggy.
I'm not sure.
Peggy Bundy from
Married with Children.
From the Al Bundy Show.
Married with Children.
The Al Bundy Show.
Married with Children.
Yeah, that was her like second big role,
Mm-hmm.
as far as I know of. But yeah, it's also a little weird because like she's got this like the naggy old woman voice, but she's like the main love interest, sort of primary female protagonist in Futurama.
Hmm.
But it's also sort of a comedy anyway.
Yeah, I do remember you watching Futurama back in the college years.
I used to watch a lot of cartoons.
Yeah, you did.
Cartoons seem to suffer.
What a man-child.
Cartoons seem to suffer from the canceled too early thing. There was one on the Comedy Central called Mission Hill that had some. It was like really oddball. I think it only lasted one season.
I've never heard of that.
Then
What was that one about?
I guess Mission Hill is an area of San Francisco, but
Yeah.
it was just about a weird kid and his weird friends.
What an original idea for a cartoon.
I don't remember much about it. But before that, many years before that, the MTV cartoons.
Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah. Well, that probably had its had a good timeline, but like the ones that because Beavis and Butthead was so successful, they brought on other cartoons.
Oh yeah.
Aeon Flux.
Uh-huh.
That one was like really artsy and.
Not talking about
Weird.
the terrible movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
if you
saw that terrible movie in theaters.
Comparing the Charlize Theron's costume to the cartoon character is like.
Her face was totally
Completely
wrong for it
different.
too. Like you need someone that. This is gonna sound corny. I don't mean cartoonish. You need someone a little bit more angular because she has such a classic
Yeah. Well,
beauty face. You need
everybody
someone
was
to look.
angular in the cartoon.
I know that's what I was saying, but you need someone a little bit more interesting looking to begin with. Apologies about the chair.
It's a little creaky.
It is creaky. Well, I guess we should wrap it up now.
Oh, but one more thing.
Okay.
The MTV cartoons. There was one called The Head. I think it was called The Head, and it was about a guy with a ridiculously large head.
That sounds vaguely familiar.
He looked like a walking drumstick, like a chicken drumstick. The weight, given the size of his head.
So not like the GoldenEye thing?
What GoldenEye thing?
There's that mode in GoldenEye multiplayer where the players could have like humongo heads.
Oh no! Well, no, I don't think so.
Okay.
His head was like really all bald and like deformed looking. Man, I don't
Yeah,
remember,
this sounds
remember what it
vaguely
was about.
familiar. Yeah.
I think I remember seeing like part of the show. He had like a roller thing, a brace around his head to support it with like a wheel on it, so he could push his head around. Man,
What a terrible affliction.
Need to find some pictures from that. I don't know that was canceled too soon. I don't know how far you can go with that premise. That's probably a good reason that he had a gigantic head. But the Max was one that was really cool, but it probably was about as long as it needed to be. It was about a guy. It was like a weird superhero kind of thing. Probably, I think there were comics about it, but like the main character was really like just a garbage collector guy, but he had all these delusions about some love interest, and that was also pretty artsy, but it was kind of fun.
Well, maybe we can talk more about these old 90s cartoons next time.
Same bat place, same bat channel.
Yeah. YouTube.com/InuitInua's. I'm thinking I want to upload these also to another website for podcasts. I don't know what the young kids use nowadays, so I'm going to have to look into that.
See you later, YouTubers.
You're not doing it right. All right. Well, thank you, DJ, for stopping by. Have fun braving the cold as you leave my igloo.
But baby, it's cold outside.
You can't say that. It's not allowed.